I've been asked to make a video on Photoshop's bridge, but there lies a problem. Like all modern software, there are so many options to choose from within Bridge. What do we actually include? Well, what if I include just those aspects of Bridge that I use myself in a practical way? And let's do that with very short individual videos. I've used Bridge for quite some time because it's very convenient, and the basics are to browse for images for various projects. Now, as an amateur photographer, I don't need to search for images. How would I know what I'm actually searching for? Because most of the time, my choices come from browsing. I can view and open all file types into Photoshop and/or Adobe Camera Raw. But also I can open up many other files unconnected with Adobe software. Let's take a look at some of the files we have here. Let's begin with this image here. As you can see, this is a Photoshop file. If I double click the thumbnail, easy to browse and find. There it's opened up instantly into Photoshop, and as you can see on the right hand side, it's a layered file. So all of the layers are there waiting for me, ready to continue with my editing. The next image is a JPEG, and that will open up exactly the same with a double click directly into Photoshop, so we can continue editing. The next image is a RAW file. Normally we can tell that by the file extension, but when I double click that, it'll be intercepted by Adobe Camera Raw, and I can make any changes that I see fit. Let's make this black and white. And I can open this up into Photoshop, or I can click done. When I do that, the thumbnail, as you can see, will reflect the changes that I've placed within that thumbnail. But at any time I can remove them or change them. To the right is an MP4, and you can see as I mouse over this, it's scrolling through a lot of the images within the MP4, but I can launch it from here. This is a slideshow, double click, and away we go. But I can even open up a Word document, double click, and we've got it launched. It's quite convenient working within Bridge. Here's another slideshow, but this one is an executable slideshow, which means it's made for playing on a PC only as opposed to the MP4. But once again, double click and that slideshow will open full screen for me. And finally I have a PDF, but there are many other file types that the software Bridge will open for us. So for me, Adobe's Bridge is like a hub, because this is where I start all of my creative work. Now here's a very useful option that I use all of the time. Here we're looking at a batch of RAW files. But we can highlight any of these files, and in fact any Photoshop or JPEG too. And with a touch of the spacebar, they'll open up full screen. Now, as you can imagine, that's quite useful at times, particularly when we're searching for images to manipulate. But I can use the arrow keys on my keyboard to scroll from image to image. So it's a nice way to sort out an image you may want to edit. When I touch the spacebar key again, you'll notice the image I've settled on here. There we can see it highlighted, ready to be opened up into Adobe Camera Raw. I can choose up to 4 lines of information to appear below each of the thumbnails, plus of course the file name. Now these are very easy to set up. We need to go to Edit at the top of the screen, Preferences, and then Thumbnails. Now there you can see I've got 3 ticks in the boxes, and those 3 ticks are the 3 pieces of information you can see below each of the thumbnails. But we do have an enormous choice here. So let's have a look inside this drop-down menu here. And what I'm looking for here is size. Let's have a look at the size, and I'll tick the box. Well, that's ticked automatically. And now when we look over here, we can see the file size of the image or thumbnail of the image shown to us with all of the other information. As you saw, very quick to turn them on and off, and they're the ones that I find most useful. I have my exposure data, I have the focal length of the lens used. Now we have the size of the file and also the pixel dimensions. There are a number of different ways you can display your images and the information that goes with them down at the bottom right of the screen, and also the ability to quickly and easily increase or decrease the size of the thumbnails we wish to view. In the next video, we'll take a look at applying coloured labels and sorting images for editing. Until next time.